Hey, okay, I wanted to film a fun video of a bunch of tricks and hacks that I always use to learn my audience's exact words, how they're describing their pain points, and how to have that feeling, or how to have your audience have the feeling when they're reading your copy that they think, I feel like she's reading my mind, or like, this is exactly what I said to someone the other day, or something like that. Um, Better. People have told me that before, and it's not that I'm a mind reader. It's that I use these tricks. And so I want to share them with you because there's some really fun ones. And these will work for people who have worked with their clients before and want to get even better at sharing messages either on social or in your emails or on your sales pages and your sales copy that really resonates with their audience. But this can also work for people who are brand new without ever having to beta test, without any of that. This is what I do. So, you know how important it is to basically use your client's words. But if you've never worked with anyone and you don't know how they would describe their problems, then what do you do? So, I'm going to tell you a few different things. So, the first thing that I would do is to go on Amazon and search up books that are in your niche or like about your expertise. So let's say you're working in hypnotherapy. I would look up all the top like hypnotherapy books, or let's say you're working in productivity, look up productivity books and go on there and find some of the top rated books, especially ones that have a lot of reviews, and scroll down and read the reviews. And you're going to hear from people sharing their feedback of either what they liked about the book, what they didn't like about the book, some of the transformations they've had while they've read the book. There is honestly such gold in these reviews that you can tap into. And, not all of it is relevant, but you can kind of figure out what sounds like my audience, what applies here and what doesn't. So that's the first trick. Get on Amazon, creep, do the work. Or let somebody else do the work for you. Somebody who's written an entire book is getting this feedback, and you can use that to help understand, like, oh, that's why somebody would want to download that book. Because a lot of times we can get caught up in our head with, like, you know, the thing that you're the expert on, you think, oh, people need this because it's going to make them sleep so much better. But really, people are worried not about how well they sleep, but about how big the bags are under their eyes or something like that. You really have to use the things that are stressing them out rather than the things that as the expert are the true benefits of your solution. Okay, another great way is to use Instagram polls. So to ask specific questions in your Instagram stories, to ask your audience questions. One question that I really love to ask is like, have you ever struggled with this? Yes or no? And then in the next slide, you can put a question, one of those question box where people can submit their answers and say, like, share about one time. Would you mind sharing with me one time that you experienced this? And then get their experience of experiencing the problem that you solve. Another great question is like, if you could solve one problem, let's say you're a business coach in your business right now, what would it be? And then you can hear from people like, okay, this is what they're really struggling with right now. And you're going to get so much good feedback. And that's a really easy one that literally anyone can do, unless you literally have zero audience, in which case you can go back to the Amazon one, because you don't need to have worked with anyone in order to creep Amazon reviews. Okay, another great one is if you take discovery calls, clarity calls, strategy sessions, like, I feel like there's a different name for all of them. But if you take discovery calls with your audience, basically free calls to see if they're a good fit to work with you, generally you'll have them fill out a couple questions beforehand. If you don't, you need a sales call funnel, and we teach you that inside MPQ, so get your buns in the course. But if you do and you ask them a few questions before you get on the phone, the answers to those questions are like gold. You need to be going through that. We go through ours like at least once a month to look through and just like literally hear straight from people who either already work with us or were considering working with us. What are the things that they're struggling with right now? What are the things that they want in the next 6 months to a year, and like all of this stuff, and hearing their experience and like actual, a lot of times people, I don't know if it's just people who get on the phone with me, but you guys are pretty funny. So sometimes people will leave like funny anecdotes or stories. And I love using, not the, word for word what they've said, but using that as inspiration and using some of those like funny real life examples of what it looks like to procrastinate. You know, for me, one of the things that I always do is procrastinate. And I've heard from other people different ways that they procrastinate, and included that in, you know, some things that I share, because those real life examples are the things that get people to think, she gets me, and then probably want to work with you. So go through those discovery call questions like often, because there's so much gold in there. Another great thing on a similar note are your DMs. So anything that people are DMing you, if I see something that I'm like, wow, this is a really great insight into what they're struggling with right now, or why they want to set up productive systems in their business, I'll take a screenshot of it so that I can come back to it later and use that as inspiration for when I'm writing my emails. Because if one person's struggling with it, then probably, you know, 5, 10, 100 people are struggling with that same thing. And a lot of times that becomes like kind of the foundation of one of my emails. So I love doing that. Okay, and then the last one, again, you don't need any audience to tap into this one, is to search on YouTube. And I guess you could do this on other places too, maybe like Pinterest or I don't know, but definitely search on YouTube videos about whatever you teach. So again, let's say you're a hypnotherapist, or if you're a nutritionist, like if you're a nutritionist who works with people who have PCOS, search like PCOS, how to treat PCOS, or 5 foods to eat for PCOS, and then go read all of the comments on like the top videos, and read what people are sharing. Because especially on YouTube, I find that people in the comments are really vulnerable and share a lot of like what they're going through and stuff like that. And so you can really hear from real people who are struggling with the thing that you want to help people with. And so it helps you get out of your head of like, you've probably had your head in textbooks and reading about how to actually clinically treat PCOS or whatever you do in your business. So you're so focused on like, what is the solution, that it's really sometimes hard to remember, or maybe you are focused on like what some of the symptoms are in a clinical sense. But it's really important to always go back to like, what are people actually experiencing, and like, what are the pain points that they're feeling on a real day-to-day thing? Like, is it that they get tired going on a 5-minute walk with their dog? If that's what someone shares, like, that's such a fun, cute little anecdote to sprinkle into your copy that is going to take your copy from, you know, average to really people feeling like, how did you know that? Like, yes, that's exactly what I'm experiencing. And especially if you start noticing trends. So if you try all of these things and you're like, oh, someone mentioned that in the Amazon review, somebody replied that to one of my Instagram stories, they said that in the DMs, and then I see this in the YouTube comment, probably, you know, quite a few people are experiencing this. So I'm going to use that as a really great example. So those are my top ways. Am I forgetting anything? No, that's all of them. Those are the top ways to hear what people are actually struggling with, use their exact words without ever needing to beta test your offers. Go in, find the, the experiences of people who have already shared it on the internet, and skip over the beta phase and move straight to launching, because you're ready. All right, I hope that was helpful. And if you are using any of these copy tricks, or if you have any of your own, share them in the comments. I'd love to hear what you do to like really use your audience's words. And I will chat with you soon. Oh, and if you are interested in any of this stuff and you want to find out more about it, I teach things like this, like conversational copywriting and stuff like that, inside your most profitable quarter yet. And you can book a call with us to apply to see if you'd be a good fit for your program. And I'll leave the link here. It's alyssacoleman.ca/call. All right. See you guys.